all. Welcome to SST College of Arts and Commerce. This is SST Edupedia. Today we are going to cover an important topic for my FI students, subject Introduction to Journalism, and very important topic for those who may want to pursue their career in the field of journalism. That is the role and responsibilities of a reporter. Let's get started. First, importantly, we need to understand what exactly the reporter is all about. Now, reporter, if you talk about it, they are the one, who can, name it in a different manner altogether. That is, they can be said to be a reporter or a journalist for that matter, who generally covers the issues, the news that's been happening around the world, around the globe. It's not only a local news or like only a nation-related news nahi hota hai, but somewhere down the line, the issues or the news that's happening around the world, around the globe. First important point, that is the roles and responsibilities of a reporter, that is delivering updates on current happening. Now, very importantly, if you talk about the journalism, even in our previous lectures also we spoke about what exactly the journalism it stands for. Somewhere down the line, covering all the latest issues, latest happening around the world. Again, it can be related to your politics, it can be related to your crime, it can be related to your sports, it can be related to your entertainment, again for television, films, and any sort of issues that's been happening around the world. But सबसे important responsibility उनका जो होता है, that is you have to present the news and updates on a very current basis. That is, whatever things that been happening right now. They are not interested. See, even if you talk about the readers, they want the news to be quick. They want all the fresh updated news चाहिए रहता है. हम लोग जैसे बोलते हैं ना, सब्जी ये सब अगर हम लोग fresh खाते तो अच्छा लगता है. We never like to have all basi kind of vegetables or like stale food and everything. कभी हमको पसंद आती नहीं है. Only if of course if you talk about your leftover rices and leftover chapatis, but apart from that, none of our food, generally we tend to have a fresh kind of fresh made, a food. The same thing it happens with the news also. So news पे भी कैसा होता है कि journalists, they want, they have to give all the kind of updates, all pakaya kind of, that with all, kind of your headlines, your, what the story is all about, giving a brief introduction about the issue, and then, analyzing it and then presenting it to the audiences, or for that matter even the readers. If you talk in the respect of your newspapers, of course magazines, I won't give you an example because magazines mein kahin na kahin all it generally covers all the not a latest kind of a thing, but usme somewhere down the line it's much more of a feature related articles hota hai, wherein you come across lot of in-depth or investigative reporting. Okay? Now, second main goal, to keep you updated. Now again, that's a very important thing, because what the reporters they try to do, they always keep any kind of issues that's updated news देना उनको prefer करते. They never try to prefer any kind of news which is of a least importance या ऐसा नहीं होता है. Just for example, now the current scenario of like COVID situation. So now everyone is like they are just कुछ भी news रहता है हमें like they always trying to read about the news related to COVID, because our CM he have declared, he have given a speech, जैसे last Sunday को speech दिया था उन्होंने, stating कि लाइक 8 दिन में अगर आप मास्क नहीं पहनोगे, सैनिटाइज नहीं करोगे, you won't maintain a social distancing for that matter, they may impose a strict or rigid lockdown once again. So that's where actually the problem it has started. Now people they are becoming much more, at least I won't say completely conscious, but yeah, they are taking that kind of precautionary step, so that because even people, they don't want once again a strict lockdown or like again a rigid lockdown. Keep completely सब बंद, train बंद, transportation बंद, again they have to sit at home. So people are like they have been in that kind of panicking situation में हो रहे. But then too, unfortunately, there are few, I mean not few, but many people, they are not taking his wordings and everything in a very serious manner. ठीक है. So ये सारी जो चीजें होती है, again it's a job of the reporter, that how they tend to cover those kind of issues, all the latest and the updated information altogether. Third, creating breaking news through different mediums. Of course, somewhere down the line, generally, if you talk about it today, you have online, you have internet for that matter. वहाँ पे भी generally you come across lot of the breaking news that generally takes place. Again, it can be through the form of radio, television, newspaper, online news sites, and magazines for that matter. Of course, magazines में क्या होता है? I won't consider it to be a much of a breaking news, because वो क्या होता है, already news that's been happened quite a long time back, and somewhere down the line they are breaking it after a month, for that matter. So it's not a daily updated nahi aata magazines mein. So but somewhere down the line, in your radio, in your television, in the online platform, if you talk about it, they generally try to cover the issues of our latest updated information देना काफी हद तक जरूरी है. जैसे मैंने पहले बताया, the viewers, they never like old old and basi news कोई किसी को पसंद नहीं आता है, so they will always want whatever kind of update, the latest information, but yeah, at the same time, they need to present it in a correct manner altogether. See, कभी कभी क्या होता है ना, again, you should not give a kind of fake news. अभी जैसे कल के I mean like TV9 news channel में I mean like they have given a false headline stating like Uddhav Thackeray, he is going to impose lockdown from March 1st. But again, somewhere down the line, that was a fake news altogether. And बाद में वो clarification आता है कि Uddhav Thackeray, our CM, he never gave such kind of comments. See, again, very importantly, because as a reporter, we need to be very careful. You need to always go through a lot of verification karo, clarification karo, cross check karo, with your with your sources and everything, and then you try to present it. अभी किधर से भी न्यूज़ आ जाता है, अरे हाँ एक हाथ या दो जन ने न्यूज़ दे दिया, ओके हाँ then that news is a completely true करके never have that kind of blind faith towards any of the source person for that matter. Try to verify it, try to do a lot of rechecking karo, and then you try to present the story. Okay, now roles and responsibility may keep up with the local and global happening, because generally if you talk about it, the news of course it should cover both the aspects. Generally we see our Times of India or like Hindustan Times or any kind of newspapers, we generally come across all different kind of news, because somewhere down the line, even global news, even that also to a certain extent play a very important role in respect to maintaining a international relationship. And for the the financial aspects, and like in the respect of trading, in the term of commerce and all, somewhere down the line, you always need to maintain a good international relationship. That plays a very important role. So we need to have the latest update towards the local news that's been happening around maybe in a country for that matter, and simultaneously at the global happening in the global platform also. Cover a wide variety of story. Of course, somewhere down the line, reporters, they generally do cover a wide variety of story. Just say it can be related to a crime, it can be related to politics. Again, politics, maybe you do have a different kind of the stories that need to be presented. Because politics, agar baat kare, Indian politics, if you talk about it, each and every state ka the politics and everything, it's quite different. अभी जैसे कल गुजरात में their local body, how we have BAMMC, KDMC, TMC, ये सब यहाँ पे कैसे होता है, वैसे गुजरात में we had that kind of local body elections and everything, wherein again your BJP, again they have completely swept away the seats and all, and somewhere down the line again they came into the local body ka, that election mein again they came back to power, and at the same time AAP, that's again a political party run by Arvind Kejriwal. They have started with a good start in Gujarat for that matter. So that was again a Gujarat related issue. So वैसे somewhere down the line we have Maharashtra, we have different other states altogether. So हर एक state का the political issues it may tend to differ. And again depending on what state journalists जो है, they try to cover the local issues of that particular particular state, what that's been happening in that particular state and as well as in the country both. Third, conduct and schedule interviews. Now again, reporters generally they do conduct a lot of interviews and everything, but again that also tend to depend. Usually if you talk about the PM interview or CM interview for that matter, yes sir, generally it's been taken by lot of the eminent or the senior most journalist, उन लोग का जैसे जैसे काफी साल से experience है in that particular field. See, because why I can tell you in this matter, because whenever you take an interview, you need to be thorough with that particular subject, and you need to be having a complete knowledge about that particular field also. Okay, for example, if I'm taking an interview of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi for that matter, I need to have a clear cut idea about all the political scenario and his work, his doings and everything, what all the things that been happening, उन्होंने क्या क्या new reforms लेकर आए. So I need to have a complete idea, complete knowledge about it. Now with that person, of course, I won't be talking something related to entertainment or something related to sports, which is again, it may not be of that important concern to him, for that matter. So I need to be very careful with, or for that matter, I won't be talking to him with the share market and everything. अरे हाँ, share market में क्या हुआ, how your share market is going, BSC में क्या चल रहा है ना, all these kind of questions, it may not be of a major concern to it. हाँ, of course, I may ask this question to him, कि what about the GDP and everything? Okay, because somewhere down the line as a PM, he need to have a complete idea about how the economic growth of a country is progressing. Okay. Now, next important, track influencers work. Now, that's very important. Just now I gave you the example. Even Narendra Modi, for example, if I've done any kind of new changes, new policies, agar lekar aate for that matter. So, again, as a journalist or a reporter for that matter, you need to have a complete idea that what are the things that's happening around in that particular field altogether. Now as a journalist, you can't be sitting numb and not asking any kind of question. No, so you need to do a lot of the prep work, all the preparations and everything that need to be started at the initial stage itself. Next come plan, edit and write stories. Very, very, very important. See, we need to again decide, see, as a reporter, we need to understand कि कौन सा news stories को हम लोग को कितना cover करना है. We need to plan it. Just for example, I may be working for a crime beat. So, what are the crime, that's been happening around the city for that matter. So, at least, I need to plan it. I need to get the story and then again, do the editing and again rewrite it. That's very important because again, the editing, your proofreading, all these aspects generally, it plays a very important role in the field of reporting and in the field of journalism, in general also. Then we have verify information provided by interviewees. Now, of course, very important, we need to have that kind of, you need to verify the information. Just for example, if I ask a question to, our Prime Minister, again, in front of him, I won't be verifying it for that matter. Okay, somewhere down the line, because he is our Prime Minister, whatever he will be saying, of course, somewhere down the line, as a reporter, we have to believe that. Now you can't again counter argue with our Prime Minister stating, no, this is wrong, this is a false information that you have given, and all this kind of thing. But once the interview has been done, you can verify those kind of information and whatever kind of the information that's been provided by our Prime Minister, whether it's correct or not. But not at least in front of him. Then again, as a journalist or a reporter, it may tend to look very awkward also. Okay? Then finalize news content. So once everything is done, once the interview is done and all, we have to, we as a reporter need to be very careful with preparing the news content. So news content में again, जैसे आप लोगों को मैंने पहले भी पढ़ाया था, somewhere down the line it talks about your inverted pyramid, your main important, the story that comes in the top, with your 5 W's and 1 H. Then, you have the body, again, what are the other additional information that need to be given. And then the last important aspect is your conclusion, that how you're going to conclude the story. Okay? Now, keep up with deadlines, as timeliness is very important. Of course, in the field of journalism, in the field of media itself, your keeping up with the deadlines is very important. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आज का कोई न्यूज़ हुआ है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल अभी इंडिया इंग्लैंड का आज से टेस्ट मैच स्टार्ट हुआ है. सो आई मीन आफ्टर 5 days, ठीक है, फॉर दैट मैटर अभी 28 या 1st को अगर वो खत्म होता है, एंड देन यू आर प्रेजेंटिंग, यू आर गिविंग द न्यूज स्टोरी से इन द ऑन 4th or 5th of March, then what does that make any kind of sense? Right? So we need to be very much up to date, and we need to stick with that deadline, because deadline agar aap nahi stick karte ho, then again it may tend to be a very big problem for the organization itself. Then आता है follow news events and other media sources to stay informed. Very important, you know. See, we have to come up with those kind of news event, because you know what are the daily happenings. See, we, as a reporter now, you know, I may be working with a particular beat. You know, I may be working as an, you know, entertainment beat reporter for that matter, but I won't say कि like, अरे हाँ, what's happening in the field of politics, what's happening in the field of crime and everything. You know, it's of not much more importance to me. I can't say that. Or what is, I know what's happening in the business sector for that matter. I can't say that कि like, no, it's not of a much more importance to me, because I am working in entertainment beat. So मुझे ये जानना है कि हाँ आलिया भट्ट और रणबीर कपूर का शादी कभी होगा. That is the main job for me as a reporter. You know, wherein BSc census चढ़ता है उतरता है, that's not a much more concern of me. So as a journalist or a reporter, we can't see these kind of stuff. ठीक है. Very important आता है, that is passion about writing and creating in an interesting story. Again, as a journalist, as a, you know, reporter, we need to present the story in a very much creative and a quite interesting manner, but at the same time using a layman language. See, we should not use such a kind of, you know, a tough language or too much of jargons, too much of adjectives, too much of adverbs. You know, ताकि ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए कि readers है ना अपने बाजू में ऑक्सफोर्ड डिक्शनरी रख के बैठे, हमें लाइक एक एक वर्ड का मीनिंग ढूंढते बैठे. Right, so you have to make it quite interesting, very clear, quite understandable, but with a layman language. Next आता है excellent communication and written skills, you know, because very important. See, you know, as a journalist, even if you're working for the broadcast media or whether you're working for the print media for that matter, communication always play a very important role in the field of media, you know. Because somewhere down the line, if you're not able to convey your message in a proper manner, what does that make any kind of sense? फिर आप वो न्यूज़ देने या ना देने के एक ही बराबर होता है जब आप मैसेज प्रॉपर वे में कन्वे नहीं कर पाते हो. The same thing goes with the written skills. So written skills में भी क्या होता है, again you have to make it, put it in a very simple, in a 1 or 2 sentences. कि like you have to explain the story. अगर आप introduction भी आप देते हो, you know, you have to make it, restricted to it. आप वही, you know, जलेबी जैसे वही घुमा घुमा के लिख के what does that make any kind of sense? Right, I mean, like readers, they also tend to know, अरे हाँ पहले भी वही लिखा है, बाद में भी वही लिखा है. You know, again readers, they may tend to get confused with it. And even once they may not tend to like your story, they may never tend to go further and read your story. ठीक है, इसीलिए it's very important that you have to generate that kind of interest among the readers. Now, critical thinkers and problem solving skills. Of course, you know, you have to think in a very critical manner altogether. See, you know, again, as a journalist, as a reporter, we need to maintain a very neutral stand. Now, we can't be just like, you know, be biased या एक तरफा होकर, या ना, you should not be tilted towards any kind of particular issue. Whether or not, see, as a journalist, you know, for example, अभी सुशांत सिंह राजपूत का जो केस, I mean, like जो चलते हुए आ रहा था, now again, you know, it has been, वो बंद पड़ गया है, you know, all of a sudden. But somewhere down the line, you know, as a journalist, as a reporter, I may like Sushant Singh Rajput for that matter. ठीक है, but again, you know, but as a reporter, I have to maintain a very neutral stand. Now, I can't be just, you know, in favor of supporting Sushant Singh Rajput, because unless and until exact story क्या अपने को पता नहीं है, तो even we can't be neutral towards it. ठीक है. Then आता है great interpersonal and communication skills. Again, very importantly, you know, we need to communicate. See, because you know, we are communicating with others. That is the interpersonal skills. ठीक है. I mean, like जब socialize करते हो, when we tend to meet our friends, when we talk to other people, those are the interpersonal skills होता है. ठीक है. So, you know, we are communicating, you know, with the readers, with the viewers for that matter. So your interpersonal skills have to be excellent. आपका इंट्रापर्सनल नहीं है, यू नो, यू आर नॉट टॉकिंग टू योर सेल्फ. आई मीन लाइक जैसे हम लोग मेडिटेशन करते हैं, योगा करते हैं, प्राणायाम, आई मीन लाइक, यू नो, आंख बंद करके, यू नो, ऑल दिस काइंड ऑफ स्टफ्स जनरली वी डू, यू नो, काइंड ऑफ मेडिटेशन करते हैं, ये सारी जो चीज़ें करते हैं, दीज आर द इंट्रापर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन. इंटरपर्सनल में क्या होता है, वेर इन वी ट्राई टू कम्युनिकेट विद द अदर्स, वी सोशलाइज इट. तो इसलिए जब भी आप कोई इंफॉर्मेशन देते हो, यू आर गिविंग इट टू द व्यूअर्स, यू आर गिविंग इट टू द रीडर्स. सो योर कम्युनिकेशन विद द interpersonal skills, you know, it has to be at par, you know, at excellent. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.